All right. Hey guys, welcome to our Monday Night Dream Team Zoom. We have a little bit of housekeeping to cover before we get into our topic tonight. So, number one, if you did not see, I did post this today. I thought it was a glitch over the weekend. Unfortunately, it is not. We are being charged sales tax for the state of Ohio now. I went to the state website to try to find a recent change. There is no recent change. So, I'm not quite sure they weren't supposed to be charging us that all this time. So I'm just going to consider it a blessing that we haven't had it up to this point. I know some people, I bet it's that $1 million drawing. All the money, yeah, for sure. There are some changes coming to Ohio tax law, but not until October. So it's kind of weird to me that it happened on like August 14th. So anyway, it's very possible that they found out that they should have been charging. I don't know. I know at Fitness for You, we have to charge tax on supplements, but I also know a lot of times when you get something shipped, sometimes that's different. So anyway, I don't know, but that is the case now. Just so you know, going in, I don't think it's something you really need to worry about. Everyone pays sales tax everywhere they go. It's just a part of doing business. It's a part of buying stuff, especially in the state of Ohio. So if people want to moan and groan, like I get it, but we still get to live in America and that's part of it. So just make sure you're aware of that. Those of you that got heat or are getting heat, I did see a support ticket. They are saying they won't say how much caffeine for sure is in heat because it's part of the proprietary blend, but they are saying it averages out to about a poured cup of coffee. So if you compare that to our capsules, which are more like a third of a cup of coffee, that's a lot more caffeine than what people might be used to in their capsules. So if you have people that are caffeine sensitive, if you have people that have heart issues, palpitations, that kind of thing, blood pressure regulation, anything like that, just please make them aware that this is a highly, in my life, it's a highly caffeinated item. In comparison to Bang and Rockstars and Red Bulls and I can't think of the other one, that's super pop, Monsters, whatever. This is not horrible by any, I mean, Starbucks, hello, Starbucks is way more than a poured cup of coffee. So compared to that, it's not, but compared to what we are used to as Thrivers, it is a higher caffeine content. So just make sure you guys know that going in, because it's not meant to take in the morning first thing, but I would definitely not tell people to take it too late in the afternoon because they might be mad at you that they can't sleep. So it's going to be I think for all of us, we should, play with it, try it, do a half of it or whatever at first and see how we feel so we can share our experience with people, but just keep that in mind. And then last but not least, double triple, you guys, they threw it out there. I talked about it a little bit on power planning last night. I'll just talk about it really quickly. It is $1,600 in volume to get the triple. It is $1,200 to get the double. Yes, that is more than what we have gotten used to over the last few years, but it is what we used to have to do to get double triple. So we were getting pampered there for a little bit, and then we're not getting pampered anymore. But it's still, we're still getting pampered. You just sell product and you get triple commission. So it's still a great deal. But just know going in, I know a lot of people who are newer, it felt like, oh my gosh, it's so much more. But those of us have been around a while, we're like, oh man, there it is. So make sure you guys are working on that. You have until the 24th. And Sonia got it in the first, hour or something like that. Like she already had her commitments. So never count yourself out. I will tell you, having done this business now for over 6 years, there are times where I'm pushing for double, triple, and it's like, oh, it's like pulling teeth. But we haven't had double, triple in a really long time. So I feel like this will be one where most people can knock it out of the ballpark. Keep in mind, if you have a spouse or a child or whatever signed up as a promoter under you, like be using those accounts to place those, like use that to count towards your, if you need product, because I know this is when I stock up for product is double, triple. So I actually had to use some credits last month to get some product because we haven't had double, triple in so long. So think ahead before you log in as yourself and place that order, think ahead, like who else could you put that order under that would benefit that add to your 1,600. So just be smart with all of that. This is only the third time this year. Yeah. Which I'm so torn. Like as a person who loves the product and loves the deal, like I want it all the time, but I do like that they've not been throwing it out over it because it gets to the point where people are like, they start to expect it. Charlie loves his Thrive. Oh yeah. Tom loves his too. I totally understand. Tom really does, but you know what I mean? So I'm kind of glad that they haven't made it like a, like a rep of like, what am I trying to, like a record that's skipping, like we're just, oh, double trouble, double trouble, double trouble. Because it definitely has some boom to it this time around. So also something to think about, this kind of goes with double triple and the sales tax thing. When you order an $800 pack, you or whoever orders an $800 pack, there is no shipping. They get free shipping on $800 packs. So if somebody's really wanting to stock up and somebody doesn't want to, like they're a little miffed about the sales tax, encourage them to do the $800 pack because they'll get free shipping, which helps offset the sales tax, right? Versus paying sales tax plus shipping on a $400 pack. So that's just something to keep in mind. And remember, on the $400 and $800 packs, they get free gifts. So on the 800, they get 2. And on the 400, they get 1. So there's little things like that to help. And also, if someone has never ordered a pack before, they're going to get those free samples. So there's definite benefits. I like to spread it out. Yeah, spread it out too, especially when repeat customers. I agree. Speaking of samples, credits, all that stuff, a lot of people, myself included, I was so excited. A lot of people got the free sample email today. So if you got that, don't sit on it. Start sending out samples, like send them out. And they expire, and I forget what day. I should have looked that up before I got on here, but make sure you mark it on. Oh, see, you have it too? Okay, good. Make sure you mark on your calendar when they expire, because if they expire, and hopefully Paul doesn't ever see this video, but send them to your neighbor. Send the sample to someone. Like, don't let it expire. Get that box of product in your pretty little hands. August 22nd. Thank you, Courtney. Okay, am I missing anything? Like, housekeeping wise, so we did sales tax, double, triple, all that stuff. I think those were all my things I wanted to talk about before we got into our topic. If I think of something else, we'll throw it in there later. So, all right. So I forget exactly even what I called it, or how I titled it. I'm catchy in those moments when I hurry up and post these things. Making a definite decision to be blank in 6 months. Okay. So those of you that have been on the Zooms lately, I've been doing a ton of Think and Grow Rich, Bob Proctor, You Were Born Rich, tons of mindset, because I know for a fact that's where I suffer. I know a lot of people will be like, oh, she's got a great mindset. She's super positive. And I am to an extent, but I also have things that were just drilled into me as a child that we all have, that right when you get on the cusp of something great, for some reason you pull yourself back, or you shut down, or you shrink, or whatever it is. And so I'm trying to learn as much about all that as possible so that I can get past that. So I'm going to share a snippet, like literally a snippet. We don't have all night. Plus I don't know it well enough to reteach it all, but I'm going to share a little snippet with you. And then we're going to go over like an assignment. I'm going to give you like a little bit of a homework assignment tonight, and we can do it together for those of you that are able to write stuff down. But your mind, you basically have 2 minds. You have your conscious and your subconscious, right? You guys have all heard of that. So your conscious mind, that's your thinking mind. That's how you think. That's how you process through the day. A car pulls out in front of you, and that conscious mind's like, hey, we should put on the brake. We should stop. Like, you can think. Somebody can say to you, the sky is green, and you can go, no, I reject that. That is not true. I know it to be blue. Like, that's your sharp, right? That's your thinking mind. And then there's the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind cannot reject anything. It can't think anything. It just absorbs. And it has been absorbing since the time you popped out of your mama. So there are so many things, like, we always talk about how kids, like, gosh, kids anything in front of them, they pick it all up. They do. They pick it all up. They literally pick it all up. The older we get, we can start to think and reject some things. We can try to think our way past some things, but that subconscious mind is always open and it's always receiving. And if you think about that as an adult, looking at children I sound like an old lady, but looking at children these days, it's even scarier to think about that because of these stupid little boxes that are constantly filling our brains. So I know when I was younger, there was this whole push of like, oh, the models in the magazine, it's unattainable. The airbrushing, it's giving all these young girls a horrible self-image of who they should be, because whether you wanted to or not, as you flip through the magazines, obviously what you saw was what subconsciously you were taking in was beautiful, or desirable or, whatever. There's certain age though, where you can reach a point and be like, okay, I know this is airbrushed. I know it's not real, blah, blah, blah. But the majority of things that we are taking in on a day-to-day basis without paying attention and realizing it is coming to us in our subconscious mind. So when we talk about I ams and we talk about affirmations and we talk about setting goals and we talk about vision boards, if you truly understand the difference between your conscious and your subconscious mind, you'll understand why they actually work, why they're actually powerful. You don't truly have to believe it yet. If you do believe it in your heart and your mind, you will get there faster, but you don't even totally have to believe it yet. You just have to allow it to be exposed to where your subconscious mind is still going to take stuff in. So for example, when you're saying your I ams, like maybe you're like, I am so happy and grateful I'm earning $1 million a year. There's part of your conscious mind that's like, I got to put the laundry in before I go to bed tonight, and $1 million. Oh my gosh, for real. Like that's happening. But if it's on repeat, if you're seeing it, if you're reading it, if you're saying it, your subconscious mind cannot reject it. It just cannot. Like there are so many things that we just can't reject it. So like when you have a thought, let's say, I'm not going to bring up anything current because there's so much stuff going on in the world right now, but let's say someone says to you that the sky is green. And you're like, no, it's blue. There's a little part of you that's like, is it blue? Is it green? Am I seeing the wrong color? Is that right? Like, wait, I thought it was blue. All these years I thought it was blue. Is it green? There's a little part of you, right? That when somebody like, you're like, definitely it is a blue sky. Well, is it green? I don't know. Am I wrong? Are they right? Do I see the same? There's always a little part of you that's like, I don't know. That's your subconscious because it heard it and it can't reject it. So that's why thinking is so important, because you're going to get a lot of things thrown at you in life. Like you're fat, you're ugly, you're stupid, you can't blah, like all those things are going to get thrown at you. So you have to be able to think and push those back, but you can harness that same power and put all the good stuff into you. And even though that little voice in the back of your head is like, I'm not beautiful, I'm not going to make $1 million, your subconscious is going to hear it over and over and over and over and over if you are in charge. Okay. So the biggest dominating factor in someone being successful, hands down, is making a decision, a definite decision. And I want you to think about that. Think of the decisions you made in your life and it made it happen. It could be something as little as you decided that you no longer liked the color of your walls, so you decided to paint them. What happened? Furniture got moved, walls got wiped down, paint was purchased, supplies were purchased, and the walls got painted. Why? Because you made the decision. As simple as that, you made the decision, right? Your decision-making power over your life is literally the key to your success in anything, whether it is to be healthier, to be wealthier, to be maybe wiser. Maybe you want to learn something. Like think about people who are like, I'm going to learn how to play the guitar. That is not something people just pop out of the womb knowing. But if you really truly want to do it, you'll learn how to play the guitar. Some people can learn how to paint. Some people can learn how to sew because they decide that's what they want to do. So when it comes to your business, you have to decide what you want to do, but you truly definitely have to decide it. So when it's like, oh, I might shoot for 4K this month. I might try to get that double triple. Double triple's going on. Maybe I'll get it. I don't know. The kids are back in school. I don't know if I'm gonna have time. Maybe, I don't know. Versus the people like, oh, I'm gonna get double triple. I'm telling you, that's who gets it. The people who say I'm getting double triple are the people who get it. Some of them will get it in the first hour. Some of them will get it in the last minute, but they've made the decision to get it. And so I know right now you're thinking, that's not true, Tammy, because I said last time I was going to get it and I didn't get it. You did not make a definite decision to get it. There is a difference between saying I'm going to get it and making a definite decision to get it. All of you right now, I'm looking at all these faces. There's a bunch of mamas on here, right? If someone said to you, your baby needs a medicine, but it's miles and miles away and it's super expensive, you would make the definite decision to get it. You would find a way to get to the location and you would find a way to get that money. Not because you're magical, but because you made the decision. It was something you truly felt passionate about. So you have to decide in your business, what do you truly feel passionate about? And we've talked a little bit about this before. It's not always about the money for people, right? It's not always like, I've even said, sometimes I struggle because I have a home, I have a nice car, I have a savings account. I don't have this like, I got to feed myself mentality. But at the same time, for me to stop at that point, just because I'm comfortable, is very selfish. Because the more money I produce, I could help other people have a house, have a car, be comfortable, right? It could be a small scale as help people on my team get the car of their dreams. Or it could be on such a big scale as something that's feeding 1,000 families through donations because I have enough money to feed them, right? So just because it's not maybe you aren't thinking of material things that you want to purchase and you're not driven by that, think what money could do for other people, that you could do for other people if you had that money. Like I listened to a guy one time totally describe the fact that people who are constantly living paycheck to paycheck or breaking even, that is the absolute most selfish way to live their life because it's always about them. And I've never really thought about that before. Like when I was in my stage of life where I was living paycheck to paycheck, if somebody told me that was selfish, I'd be like, excuse me, I'm trying to pay my bills. I'm trying to feed myself. But in the reality, if you are settling for that and you're settling for that constant, like being on that wheel that never gets off, and you're not ever able to think about anybody but yourself, that's being very selfish. So I want you to really think when you make this definite decision that we're getting ready to talk about, I want you to really think beyond yourself. I want you to think beyond anything anyone's ever told you that you can or can't do. I want you to think beyond anything you've ever felt about yourself being able to can or can't do. Right? I'm talking like it's you and a piece of paper. Nobody else has to see it. But I want you to start to describe what your day would be like in 6 months compared to today. If you had made this definite decision to elevate yourself, your business. So for some of you, like we've talked about this before, I think as a group, Tom and I have a goal of moving. When my youngest nephew is out of high school, we are moving. So when somebody says to me, where do you want to be in 6 months? I'm like, I don't know, I guess here still. So some of you may feel that way. Like, I'm not going anywhere in 6 months. I like my house. I'm living here. That's where we're going to be. Okay, great. But in 6 months in that house, what will be different? Do you want your house to be paid for at that point? Do you want your house to be remodeled at that point? Do you want it to be redecorated? Do you want to be able to live and work out of your house versus having to leave your house? Will your house be filled with your family or your friends, or will your kids finally be out of like your life? It's your life. It's going to go in a million different directions. So in 6 months, 6 months from today. So what you're going to do is you're going to write this out in present tense as if it is 6 months from today. So that'd be September, October, November, December, January. So if it was February 16th, 2022, what does your life look and feel like? When you wake up in the morning, are you waking up to an alarm and rushing out the door for your job still? Maybe you love your job and maybe that's what you want to do. Or are you waking up an hour later than normal because you don't have to run? But yeah, a lifestyle getaway in Mexico. Heck yes. Side note, they're not getting a very big response for Vegas. I think people are a little bit sad, or maybe it's just me, but there's not a very big response for Vegas right now. So are you waking up at the same time? Are you waking up at a different time? Are you waking up in a different room? Does your room look different? Did you tear out the carpet and now you have hardwood floors? Did you, maybe you added central air? Maybe you have a brand new bed with the Sleep Number mattress that you always like. When you're waking up, is it different? Are you eating at home? Is your meal the same as what you've been eating? Or are you eating something different because you've taken on a new fitness regimen and you're eating better? Like, I really, really, I mean, this could take forever. We can't do this all together, obviously. But this is what I need you to start thinking about, because here's the thing. It may sound weird, like, why does Tammy care if I'm waking up in my newly remodeled bedroom, blah, 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 because you did something to make that happen. If like, to me, I just redecorated my bedroom over the winter. So I'm waking up in the same room. I love that room. It feels amazing. I love the way it feels in the morning. But when I walk out the hallway into my kitchen, I want that thing to look different. And how am I going to make it look different? By earning money to pay for the renovation. How am I going to earn the money? By building my business. How am I going to build my business? By doing more reach outs. Do you see how it whittles its way down? So if you can really wrap your mind around what it is that you want your life to look like 6 months from now, then you can really start to wrap your mind around what you're going to be doing to build your business. Maybe 6 months from now, you don't want to wake up in Ohio. Maybe you want to be wintering in Florida, or you want to be wintering in Arizona. Or maybe you're like, I don't get out of bed till noon because I like to stay out till 1 a.m. Whatever floats your boat. This is your thing. But the more you can wrap your mind around what you want and really thinking through those details. So again, I know it might sound weird that, like, okay, she wants me to say I'm waking up in my bedroom and we finally ripped out that nasty carpet and I have beautiful wood floors. That is a very specific detail that you can become emotionally attached to. Right? I want to have a home where the whole team can winter in air. Yes, girl, me too. I would love for you to have that. Whoop, it's me flying. It's me flying to Sam's. Woo-hoo. Let's see, we're all adults on here, right? Yes, we're all adults. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about something so that you can really truly understand this. You know, when a boy and a girl, they get together and they start to feel things for each other, and then it goes from just feeling things to feeling each other physically, like touching, right? Are you with me? When you have an emotion that is wrapped around a physical behavior, it is sealed into your mind, sealed into that subconscious. How many young girls have you looked at and been like, honey, you're not in love, you just had sex, right? As an adult, you can see that now, but they're like, no, I love him. He's the most amazing thing in the world. It's like, it's sealed. So when I say, I want you to think about how you're going to wake up, like really think about it. Are you throwing the covers off? Are you pushing yourself up? Is the sun coming through the window? Are you stretching? Are you jumping out of bed? Like, what are you doing? Like, really put your emotion and the physical movement into what you're thinking. So when you put your feet out and you touch the floor, did you touch like lush carpet that you've always wanted? Or did you finally touch that beautiful wood floor you've always wanted? Is it cold on your feet? Is it warm on your feet? Really think through all these little tiny details, because it will become a part of you. And if it becomes a part of you, then you're going to be able to actually bring it into your real world. So really think about all the details. Maybe there's something, I don't know, maybe you want to run a marathon. I will say, back when I was training and I wanted to do a fitness competition, I was petrified of the whole process. Like, I wasn't petrified of the work that had to be done. I was petrified of the end result. I had to like practice in my head what it would feel like to be basically half, pretty much almost naked on a stage in heels in front of people. Like, I had to practice that in my mind and see it in my mind, so that the day it came, I didn't go hide in the corner. I had to like really like, I'll be cold. I'll be basically naked. I'm going to smell bad because the stuff makes you smell bad. I'll be in heels, so I'll be wobbly. Like, I really had to think all that stuff through. But then in the moment when it happens, you have this weird, almost deja vu, like, oh, I've been here. I was ready for this. So I want you to really think about these details, because things will come to you when you're ready for them. And so the more you can imagine this new life that you're going to have in 6 months, and I'm not saying you guys need to be millionaires in 6 months and living on yachts. Like I'm just talking about a regular 6 months of your life. What would you like to see change in 6 months? It could be one thing. Maybe you always wanted new curtains. Maybe you want to only get bank statements in the mail, not payment, like not bills in the mail. So like, if that's what you're thinking, what would it feel like to open your front door on a sunny spring day? The birds are chirping, the grass is green, you're barefoot, you walk out to your mailbox, you open it up, and the only thing in there is a bank statement. There's not a single bill. What does that feel like? Like maybe that's what you want to feel in 6 months. Right. Hallelujah. Like like for the first time ever, you're excited to open the mailbox, right? These are the things like you think like, maybe you don't care about how your house is decorated. I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to come up with something so you guys can understand what is it that you want in 6 months? I don't know. I don't know what you want, but you have to know. And so pick one thing that you really could focus on and then really get nitty gritty with the details, like go overboard with the details. Like it sounds cheesy and like you're writing a book, but like go overboard with the details. Really put yourself into your dreams. That is the only way to make them come alive. And these have to be your dreams. I see a lot people want to copy other people because maybe you see someone and they look successful to you. What is it about them that makes them look successful to you? Don't copy them, bring it into the real world with you. So I know some people are like, oh, that girl's got her nails done. She's got her eyelashes done. She carries an LV bag. Whew, that is success. That may not be success for you. So don't wrap your idea of success around someone else. What would be successful to you? To me, I wanted to be debt free. I will live in the tiniest house. If it wasn't for Lavelle, I would still be driving my same car that I had when I first started this gig because I had just paid it off. My whole thing was to be debt free. So that to me was a different feeling. That was waking up in the morning and not dreading looking at my email, not dreading going to my mailbox, not dreading opening up my banking app. Like that was what I wanted to have that like, oh, I'm going to open the banking app and see how much money I have, not how much I owe. Like that's where I was when I started this business. So you're all going to be in different spaces. So find what means something to you that you can really see and then work backwards. So for the example of, what was the one, Sonia, you got excited. Oh, going to the mailbox and not having any bills. So for you to be, for anyone to be able to go to the mailbox and not have any bills, it does. So to not have any bills, it doesn't mean that you don't still spend money, right? I don't care how rich you are, you're always going to have an electric bill, but it's on auto pay, right? You're always going to have, I don't know, what's another bill you're always going to have? Your health insurance, but it's on auto pay, right? That's a whole other feeling versus, oh my God, the bill is due. Do I have enough money to write the check? If I write the check and I mail it, will it make it on time? Or maybe I'll mail it a day late, but they'll still get it and they'll put it in. Like you guys all know that feeling, right? Like, oh, maybe they'll batch it on the same day. Or I'll make sure it shows up on the weekend and then they can't take it until Monday anyway. Like we've all been in that spot where we're like, don't cash my check yet. So what would that do for you if you could be on auto pay with your bills, only check your bank statement to see how much money you've made, right? What does that feel like? Now that you know what it feels like and looks like, how do you get there? That's where you can start going backwards. Come alive, come alive. So there's a quote, and I don't remember it exactly, but basically, you can't connect the dots of your life looking forward. You can only connect them when you look backwards, right? So like when you were going through all the trials and tribulations of, say, the last 10 years, it didn't make sense in the moment. Like it never makes sense in the moment. But then when you look back, you're like, oh, I see now why that had to happen because I get it. So you went from here to here and you don't know why until you get up here. So we're working backwards. What do you want this to look like? So now look backwards. How do you get there? So if you want to be debt free and you want to have your bills on auto pay, how much money do you need to make? How do you make that money? Right? So, and obviously I'm referring to your Lavelle income. So let's say you want to make $1,000 a week with Lavelle. How are you going to make that? You're going to have to build a team. You're going to have to find customers. How do we do that? We do our social media. We do our posts. We do our reach outs, right? We do all these things. So work backwards. Figure out where you want to be, what you want it to feel like, what you want it to look like. And then like think, what steps would have got me to that spot? Okay. So I know it's kind of abstract. I know it's kind of out there, but I just want you to really take your I ams to a new level. Like, don't just be saying them. I want you to feel them. When I now say I am so happy and grateful that I earn $1 million a year, like I see it. I see how different my life is. I see how different other people's lives are because of it. And that to me is inspiring. That to me will make me like send more messages than I would have without it. That to me makes me like get a no and be like, oh, okay, move it along. Like you keep going. But when you're just like, I'm going to be 4K, like that's hard to wrap your mind around. What does that even mean? Right? What does that even mean in the grand scheme of life? Maybe you want to be the person who writes a check every single month to your church that could build another church. Maybe you're the person who wants to write a check to the animal shelter every month that could feed all the dogs. Right? What do you want to do with all that money? How is that going to make you feel? I just know it's the only way I can help all the dogs without bringing them home because I can't bring them all home. All right. Okay. So you're going to write out in present tense. So remember, it's not like, oh, I hope. You're not going to say things like, I hope in 6 months when I get out of bed, I hope I've got that hardwood floor. No, you're going to write, this morning when I got out of bed and my feet touched the hardwood floor, it was so cold because it's so shiny and beautiful, just the way I always wanted it. I don't know. I'm not an author. I just whipped that shit up. But like, that's how you're going to say it. You're going to actually write it in the present tense. What does it feel like? What does it look like? What does it mean to you? Shantae didn't know that when she dropped her strawberry milkshake, that it would lead to all, yes, exactly. So think about that in the moment. It's still one of my favorite Shantae moments ever in my whole life. She had no idea what was going to happen from that point on. But looking back, it all makes sense, right? It's a tremendous story. If for nothing else, it connected a dot for all of us. So I want you guys to do, I want you to work on that. I would love, love, love if any of you are comfortable sharing it with me after you're done. I would love to see it just so I know where you are, what it is you're shooting for, what you're aiming for. If it's super personal, and you don't want to share it, I get that too. But if you can't share it with me, find someone you can share it with. Because I think that's even more powerful to share what you've created. And remember the little girl who falls in love because she's been touched and she thinks it's the real thing, right? I want you to really think it through. Like, what does it feel like? When you're going to the mailbox and there's nothing in there, I want you to is it cold metal? Does it make a creaky sound when you pull it down? Really put yourself in that moment so that you can really get that in your brain. Okay. Okay. That was fun. I hope you guys liked it. And I'm anxious to see what you guys come up with if you're willing to share. If not, I get it. Anyway, bye.